Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO network. Enjoy. All right, I am D of FTO Nerd Talk. This is a brand new episode of FTO Podcast. It's good to be here. I'm doing this episode from home this time. I had the opportunity. I'm not doing it in my car. My wife is out of town, so here we are doing the podcast. How's it going? All right, we got a lot to talk about this week, from Quantum Leap to some DC news, a lot of other things in between. You're gonna hear the clicking of my computer, so get used to that. I love being neurotic on the podcast, like saying little things like that. Most podcasts I listen to will never talk about stuff like the clicking on their microphone, people coming in and outside their rooms, stuff like that. But you know what? I'm a weird guy. I'm quirky like that, and that's usually how I operate. And the more I do this, the more comfortable I get being like talking in front of a microphone, talking to you guys, all that good stuff. So like let's do this. First up, Quantum Leap is getting additional episodes. It initially started out with 12 episodes of the beginning of the season, but they pushed it up to 18 episodes this season. If you guys don't know, Quantum Leap is not really a remake. It's a continuation of the original show on Peacock currently. So if you are watching Quantum Leap, if you thought to yourself like, hey, on 12 episodes, good luck. You got 6 more. So congratulations. All right, next up is going to be Harrison Ford is officially joining the MCU. He's going to be Thunderbolt Ross. As we know, William Hurt recently passed away, and he portrayed a role of William of Thunderbolt's Thaddeus Ross. And like now, Harrison Ford is taking over. He's going to make his official debut in Captain America: New World Order. That is the Captain America movie. We're going to have Sam Wilson portraying Captain America. So we're going to see Bucky and Cap, Sam Wilson, and we also have Harrison Ford portraying a role of Thunderbolt Ross. And like that's also going to translate over towards the new Thunderbolts TV show. So a lot of us was wondering, like, how are you going to make a Thunderbolts show without having Thunderbolts Ross attached to it? Considering, like he is Thunderbolt. He is the one who created like this Suicide Squad team in the MCU. But like, worry no more, because Harrison Ford is taking over. Now, like, I got like some mixed feelings about this because, like, a lot of fans. As surprised as I am, they're not talking about this. A lot of fans are not talking about the fact that like this happened and like T'Challa wasn't recasted. But like, I am happy to see like that they got like the story continuing inside this universe and having like not only like a great actor but like a high marked actor like in the same caliber of William Hurt, in my opinion, like in Harrison Ford, to take over this role. So like, you know what, that's good news all around in my eyes, like straight up. Next up, some DC news. Patty Jenkins talks Wonder Woman 3 in future movies. So we've heard about this at, I think it was at New York Comic Con, and it was Patty Jenkins. No, it was at the Matera Film Festival. Jenkins was asked a question about the future of Wonder Woman, and she replied saying, "I just wrote the last final scene of Wonder Woman 3, and I thought I'd be interesting in seeing what happens next." So she says this to say, like, maybe she's not done with the Wonder Woman franchise. Having The Rock doing Black Adam really does like put like a lot of energy back into the DCEU. And I think like having Zack Snyder being pushed out is really going to change like how we see this entire franchise as a whole. Like, just having someone like The Rock, as energetic as he is with the Black Adam franchise, and Justice Society of America, no less, a part of this. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's gonna open up a lot of doors for us. It's gonna have us see the DC universe a little bit different than like we may have been prior to all of this. So let's see what happens. Maybe we get a Wonder Woman 3. Maybe we'll get Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman. You never know. Maybe we'll get like some Yara Flor. Maybe cool too. Or some Nubia. That'd be great. Next up, we have James Gunn is secretly working on another movie. Now, this is an article that I saw, but it doesn't really. It's quoted from the Hollywood Reporter talking about how DC is like possibly talking about a movie with the Peacemaker and Suicide Squad director James Gunn, but it doesn't say like what movie he's going to be working on, but a lot of fans are saying right now that it's possibly maybe going to be the Man of Steel film, like the Man of Steel 2. So possibly having James Gunn do a Superman movie. Now I know James Gunn did like some weird films back in his early days. I think he worked on the Scooby Doo film, and like so he knows how to do like family oriented movies and things like that. But I really think like having a director like himself work on a movie like that, I don't know. I think that's outside of his caliber now. I think like he's showed who he really is, and he's definitely like the cringe type director of today. Not so much so that like it's unprecedented to do a Superman type film, but I just feel like that was like Zack Snyder's baby, and I'm not a Snyder bro, as most of you already know. But to pass that off to James Gunn of all people, yeah, he did a lot with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, he's redeemed himself like with his obscene photographs that he took to get himself out of the MCU. But I definitely think like he has like a certain way about him and his directing style now that like giving it to him wouldn't be the best option. Do I have someone who can possibly take over like to do something like that? Honestly, no. Like I don't have anyone like in mind who can possibly do justice to the Man of Steel film franchise that DC is trying to do since Henry Cavill is coming back, which is official. That's not one of the news articles that I'm doing. That's probably gonna be a Blurry News exclusive. But yeah, Henry Cavill is coming back, and I don't see James Gunn doing this. I just don't I just don't see it. Maybe Constantine, but not Superman. Like I can't. Like they are talking about how Idris Elba in with Bloodsport could possibly meet up with Superman in the future, but I don't see them. I don't see him doing a Superman film. I just don't. Next up, from The Verge. This is it says, can Netflix reclaim the Netflix for Game crown from Game Pass? So much like Stadia, Google Stadia that we talked about a couple weeks ago, Netflix is trying to get their hat in the ring also with doing some cloud gaming. Now we all know that it did not work out too well for Google Stadia. Like it failed. A few weeks ago, they announced that they're ending Stadia, and all the people who had games on there are getting refunded. Like whoever bought like some hardware is getting refunded. So why Netflix is doing this? I guess mostly for clout. I don't know. Like they have the resources to do stuff like this. Amazon Luna doesn't seem to be doing very well either. Neither is Nvidia's GeForce Now. Also, is really doing so well. So, like, I'm literally scratching my head because I don't get why they're doing this. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, like, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I still feel like no. To answer that question, will it take over Xbox Pass? No, it won't at all. Next up, what do we have next? What do we have next? I threw myself into a curve with my articles because I ran out. I ran out of them. I thought I had more than what I had. Apparently, I didn't. Let's see if I can go to some old stuff. There was supposed to be a Peacock Stone Cold Steve Austin show, a cartoon show, but it may not get released. Dan Soder said he worked with Peacock to try to make a Stone Cold Austin TV show. Not so much about his wrestling, more so about his character. And he wanted to put that on Peacock, but apparently it may not be happening. He said a lot of things he had to say about this. See if I can find a quote for this, because he said a lot. He said a hell of a lot. He said he said Stone Cold Steve Austin, that was a cartoon, and we sold it to Peacock, but now the WWE and Peacock are BSing them. It's been 17 months on the sidelines, and I keep calling these MFers, being like, this is going to be effing funny, and Stone Cold is completely on board. We developed the show with him, not the WWE. And see, like, this is that Kevin Smith thing all over again. Like, right now I believe Hollywood and like executives who create media are taking like this nice approach, this kind and friendly approach to everything. So like the tough guys, the nerdy dudes who are kind of rude at times are not. They're old news, man. Like that. That's like the old way of doing things. Like it doesn't sell like it used to. You know what I mean? And lastly, with news, the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power star Charlie Vickers wants to play Mr. Freeze in a Batman movie. He quoted saying, "I thought it'd be cool to play Mr. Freeze in some kind of contemporary, realistic, very sort of dark adaptation, but not sure it's going to happen anytime soon." So like ever since he was a kid, he was at a theme park and he saw Mr. Freeze, and like Mr. Freeze picked him up and ran with him, and it freaked him out ever since. So he wants the opportunity to play his character. Now, I'm not saying like this wouldn't be a good idea, because it would be. I just finished Ring of Power. I may do a review about that here pretty soon. But this is a great casting. This is a casting that I didn't even think of. I had somebody entirely different to do Mr. Freeze, but this is a great casting. Yeah, and he's casting himself as Mr. Freeze. So, wow. I don't know. I like to see it. I'll be here for it for sure. Whew. All right, take a little break. I'll be right back, and we'll talk about the TV shows and games to check out this week.
What's going on, guys? My name is Nemo, and you probably know me as Who is Nemo on TikTok. And I just want to take some time out today to talk about a very special podcast. Now, that podcast is FTO Nerd Talks. Now, FTO is a podcast that gives you daily updates on all things pop culture. So, if you're into anime, manga, comic books, TV shows, movies, and all that good stuff, FTO is the podcast for you. Now, I know what you're all thinking. There are so many podcasts out there that already do the same thing, and I'm about to tell you why FTO is so special. Now, FTO is so special because they emphasize on Black nerd culture. Not only that, if you like to be interactive with your favorite content creators, FTO is the special podcast for you. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to state your opinion about a certain project, they will engage with you. So if you haven't already, please go follow FTO Nerd Talks on all social media platforms. And if you haven't already, please do me a favor, follow them on Apple Music and Spotify so you don't miss out on their weekly podcasts. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
And we are back. We got a lot of TV shows, movies, and video games to talk about this week, so let's get right into it. First up is Black Adam. Comes out October 21st, of course, with Warner Brothers, and New Line Cinema is doing this. I did not know New Line Cinema was producing this film. Huh, that's interesting. It's 124 minutes long. The synopsis is nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the ancient gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson, is freed from his eternal tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. Now, this is, as I said before, it's going to have the Justice Society inside of it. I think Pierce Brosnan, Alden Hodge, they're going to be a part of this. You're going to have Atom Smasher and Cyclone inside of it as well. I feel like it would have been a great opportunity to introduce Power Girl, but, you can't win them all. Or at least, Jay Garrick, the Flash, inside of this also. But, again, can't win them all. But, yeah, man, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is going to be playing Black Adam. This is like a pet project similar to Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. It's in the same guise, in my honest opinion. Like, it's the same kind of, energy. Full on, and it's really cool to see this. It just is say what you will. This is cool. This is like a good vibe for sure. Next up is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is to be announced in November. No real date set yet. It is not rated. Also, my goodness, it's 114 minutes long. Guillermo del Toro reinvents Carlos Collodi's classic tale of the wooden marionette who is magically brought to life in order to mend the heart of a grieving woodcarver named Geppetto. So it's a stop motion film. It's a musical. It's directed by Del Toro and Mark Gaston. This is something. It's gonna be on Netflix. Wow, Netflix is doing some interesting things. I can see why people are still competing against Netflix. Why Netflix is still top dog in the streaming game. Next up is Slashback. Comes out October 21st. This is done by Sickle Films. It's 86 minutes long. It's also not rated. The synopsis goes: the sleepy village of Paneritog wakes up to a typical summer day. No school, no cool boys, well, step one, and 24-hour sunlight. But for Micah and his ragtag friends, the usual summer is suddenly not in the cards when they discover an alien invasion threatening their hometown. These teenagers have been underestimated their whole lives, but using makeshift weapons and their horror movie knowledge, they show the aliens you don't mess with the girls from Pang. All right, that sounds interesting. Actually, like I'd be for that. I don't know what channel this is on, but it looks really interesting. I'd be for watching this for sure. Next up, A Plague Tale Requiem. It's on Xbox, PC, PlayStation 5, and Switch. It's the publisher is Focus Home Interactive. It's an action linear game. Embark on the heart-trending journey into the brutal, breathtaking world twisted by supernatural forces. After escaping their devastated homeland, Amicia and Hugo travel far south to New Reigns, vibrating cities. There, they attempt to start a new life and control Hugo's curse. But when Hugo's powers reawaken, death and destruction return in a flood of devouring rats. Now, this game's been talked about a lot. I've seen it quite a few times. It's rated M for mature. And it also has 30 frames per second to it, just like the Gotham Knights game that we'll be talking about pretty soon. But like the difference is, like from what I've been hearing from fans, is like that this game looks a lot better than what a lot of folks are saying this Batman game looks like. So, a Plague Tale Requiem. So it's out there. And speaking of the Batman game, Gotham Knights, that also comes out the 21st on the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X. Warner Bros. Montreal did this game. It's the synopsis goes: Batman is dead. It is now up to the Bat family, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin to protect Gotham City, bring hope to its citizens, discipline to its cops, and fear to its criminals. You must evolve the new Dark City and save Gotham from chaos. Now, this is not a sequel to any of the other Batman games. It's its own separate universe. It's its own separate game. This seems very cool. Like, it looks really awesome. It looks really seamless. Like, you can just, like, patrol around Gotham City and just, like, do whatever you want to as Nightwing, Batgirl, and, like, all the other characters I mentioned. There is talks about bringing in, like, Cassandra Cain and Duke Thomas and Stephanie Brown. And I'm interested in seeing how that kind of look. But for a guy who doesn't have a console right now, like, it would make me want to buy one, especially considering that the God of War game is coming out next month. But the fact that the frame rate is kind of low, it is a bit of a deterrent. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm an eye candy guy, and I need me some eye candy. Next up, we got The Vow. Came out in 2020. This is the second season of this show. The second season premiered October 17th of 2022. This year is on HBO. The synopsis reads as follows. The second season of the documentary series focuses on NVIXVM co-founder Nancy Salzman and the federal trial of the co-founder Keith Raniere. Now, I said like those Roman numerals. I feel like it means something. My wife has been watching this, and it's about that cult. Like they call it like the Superman cult because they had like two cast members from the Superman Smallville show inside of it. This thing is dark, man. Like, it's really kind of messed up. So, like, it's back for a second season following the trial. I did watch part of it last year, or in 2020 when it came out, and like it is very, very well done documentary style. It's HBO. Like, you don't really go wrong when it comes like to telling documentary through HBO. But this is it's very riveting. If you've been following this, you got more episodes to watch, but like brace yourself, man. Like, it's intense for sure. Next up, Gangs of London Season 2. This came out on October 20th. It's on AMC, Sky Atlantic, and AMC Plus. The synopsis reads: the second season picks up a year later with the investigators seeking to control the chaos after the events of the first season by working with heroin drug lords Asaf Afridi, played by Raza Mir, who hires Koba, played by Walid Katir, to ensure all activities goes through them. I'm not familiar with this show, but I have seen it in passing. Maybe I should check it out. Like hearing about more shows on AMC makes me want to get like the Interview with a Vampire TV show and like watch that bad boy. So like if I do try like a free trial or something like that, I'll put like Gangs of London on the list too. And that is it for things to check out this week. Let's move it on to comic books to check out. And who doesn't like some good comic books, right? That's why we save it for last, man. First up, I Am Batman, issue number 14. The mystery of a pair of brutal murders is solved. A hero is born. A mantle is passed. The conclusion of the intense She Got Next saga will reverberate with New York all the way back to Gotham City as it sets up the next chapter for both Jace Fox and Renee Montoya. Now, Renee Montoya is the commissioner of New York City, and Jace is the Batman of New York City, and this series is getting pretty intense. So, 14 issues so far, and it's still going strong. Fans are really, really excited about this. Writer is John Ridley, artist is Tom Derenick, the cover art is Christian Deuce. Next up, we got Harley Quinn, the animated series, Legion of Bats, issue number 1. Choose your fighters. When last we checked in with Harley Quinn, she ate and banged and killed. But now, it's time for something a little different. Fresh out of the events of Harley Quinn, the animated series, Season 3, Harley Quinn has found herself a part of a highly unlikely team, the Bat Family. So, Harley Quinn is becoming a hero. They've been trying to do this for Harley Quinn for a while now, make her into a hero. It all kind of started in the Injustice comic, when she wouldn't go along with the Joker's plans because he was dead. So well, about the Joker's plan being Superman's plan of being a fascist. So and then she had to join up with Batman and Green Arrow, I think was the main character that she kind of linked on with Green Arrow. Yeah, I watched the Injustice movie, which was really good, surprisingly. I read up until season 3 of the comics, so I mean, this seems interesting. It's based off the TV show, so if you like the TV show, this might be a good read for you. The artist and writer is T. Franklin, and the artist is Shay Beagle. Inker is Roberto Paggi. Next up, we have Moon Knight, issue number 16, Chinatown. While Moon Knight ventures into unknown territories to make a new friend of an ancient monster, Hunter's Moon stalks the rooftop on his own, intent on his own definition of justice. That was a mouthful for me. Little does he know that he is far from the only one stalking the nighttime cityscape. I feel like this is a filler episode. Reading that synopsis alone feels like a filler episode. It's written by Jed McKay, Alessandro Cappuccio, apologies, and colorist and cover artist is by Rachel Rosenberg. So, it's all that. Next up, we have DC Superman World Finest, issue number 8. I've been seeing some pushback about this comic book online. I know you're a nerd, so he was a real big fan of this series. I still haven't had a chance of getting around to it. And if you guys are still listening to this and you do wonder about the Comic Point, I have not linked up with Yoner for a while. I believe he's kind of busy doing a lot of different stuff. I need to hit him up to talk about the Comic Point and doing I think we're in the 3rd issue of Dark Crisis or the 4th. But if I can get a hold of him, I'll try to do it myself and just talk about the comic book. I know I'll talk about doing the I Am Batman and talking about doing other comic books. I've been so overwhelmed with so much stuff that I haven't been able to moderate my time. But I think it's time for me to write a schedule to get myself a little bit more organized. But this comic book is Strange Visitors, Chapter 2, Team Spirit. Reckless youth continues as Superman and Batman struggle to mentor the new boy Thunder. The key has drawn the world's finest team into an impossible dilemma, unlike any they've faced when the entire city of Metropolis goes into a deadly lockdown. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Writer is Mark Wade. Artist is Dan Mora, and colorist is Tamara Bonneville. Bonnevillain. Sorry, Bonvillain. That's an interesting name. Next up, Batman One Bad Day. The Penguin, issue number 1. The Last Bullets. The Penguin's criminal enterprise and the Iceberg Lounge have been stolen from underneath him by his former associate, the Umbrella Man. The Umbrella Man has removed all of the rules for crime in Gotham City that the Penguin put in place, and the city is in chaos. The Penguin is a broken man, and he'll have to travel through the burning streets of Gotham with a gun and a single bullet, putting together a new crew to take back what he built. Now this is really interesting because it really does involve like the origin stories of Penguin and like how we see Penguin really come to who he is. And it's like from the same team that did other histories of the DC universe, which is John Riley, Giuseppe Kumikoli, and Cam Smith, and many other various writers like Jim Lee, Dan Mora. You got a lot of different people a part of this, and this is really something else. Like from the other stuff, like the Riddler and Two-Face. One Bad Day, Penguin's getting his own too. It's supposed to be like a whole going thing, all like the rogues of Batman. I definitely think like these One Bad Day issues are supposed to be a teaser for the films that are supposed to be coming out, because I did also hear something about how Reeves is possibly going to be introducing the other rogues inside of TV shows too. I can't confirm that, but like that's what I've heard through the grapevine. Next up, DC's War to Undead Gods, issue number 3. The blockbuster final arc in the series continue. All right, wow, that's a hell of an attack. As the warrior princess is mourned on Themyscira, the old gods come to warn of the threat of the new gods. Meanwhile, across the stars, Adam Strange fights the unthinkable, and the main man himself, Lobo, tears his way into DC's. The new battle lines are drawn as the anti-living spread across the universe. Now, introducing Lobo to a story like this with Tom Taylor and Andy Lanning doing the writing and the artists, that's pretty phenomenal. A lot of people died in this. Like this, I hear like the deaths in this is like a lot more greater than like Ultimatum. So I should definitely try to get my hands on this and reading it. The inker is also by Trevor Hairsine. So there's that. And I think our last book is Captain America, Symbol of Truth, issue number 6. Pat's Mohanda starts here. Still reeling from his conflict with Wakanda, Sam Wilson is called to international stage once again to protect a visiting politician from the African nation of Mohanda. But the White Wolf is already put to the second stage of his plan into motion, with dire consequences for both Sam's closest friends and Mohanda. Old allies return and new enemies rise in this thrilling new chapter of Captain America, Symbol of Truth. The legacy issue of this is Captain America 741. Captain America has been going strong for a while. Wow. The White Wolf is in this. You got Wakanda being talked about in this. So, if I'm not sure how much you guys have been following the new Marvel comic books or any of these stories. I have not, but it seems pretty interesting. The artist is great. Artist is IG Gaura, and the writer is Tochi Onyebuchi, with colorist and cover artist Jesus Abrutov. So that is your comics for the week. That is your comics. That is your news. That's your things to check out. I've been busy and preoccupied this week. I've been kind of sick. I think you can still hear like the stuffiness in my mouth. It's moved from like the back of my nose to the front of my nose. It's gonna go completely pretty soon. But Busy, man. Just a lot of stuff being busy with. So, I don't really have much to say about myself this week or like to put out there into the world about what's going to happen. I am trying to do a lot more different things. I'm going to try to do like a top 10 games this week and just talk about the games that are coming out, talk about like what I think about them. I was going to try to do it tonight, but I did this podcast and I got to go to a volleyball game tomorrow. It is like midnight 30. Me doing this late at night right now. And like usually, as you guys know, that's not so much of a bad thing, but like I'm exhausted. Like exhausted. So please forgive me. I don't feel like I'm wearing myself too thin. I just feel like I'm just trying to do a lot so I get like a lot on my plate and make sure everything is taken care of. But sometimes that can backfire on you, you know? Sometimes like you can do all this kind of stuff and say you can do all the, like these X, Y, and Z's to the A, B, and C's that you got set up in your head. And like it can just make you tired. Like so, yeah. But I'm your host, D of FTO Nerd Talk. It's always a pleasure doing this. Until next time, take it easy. Hey guys, D here of FTO Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTO Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.